A special thank you to each of our subscribers who make this channel possible. Here's today's story. In a critical EU summit held in Brussels, Belgium has taken a firm stance, insisting on robust guarantees from its European partners before it can support a significant loan to Ukraine. This loan, which could potentially use frozen Russian assets, is seen as essential for Ukraine's military and financial stability over the next 2 years. As of September, approximately 193 billion euros, or $227 billion, in Russian assets are held at Euroclear, a Brussels-based financial clearinghouse. The backdrop to this demand is a lawsuit filed by Russia's central bank against Euroclear, which has heightened Belgium's concerns about possible retaliation from Russia. Prime Minister Bart De Wever articulated his position, stating, "Give me a parachute, and we'll all jump together." He emphasized the need for confidence in the safety of the plan before proceeding. Belgium's apprehension stems from fears of a Russian response, prompting a preference for borrowing from international markets instead. Furthermore, Belgium is advocating for the inclusion of frozen assets from other European nations and guarantees that Euroclear will be protected from legal challenges. European officials have indicated that Russia is actively engaging in sabotage and disruption across Europe, adding urgency to the situation. The proposed reparations loan would see the EU allocate 90 billion euros, or $106 billion, to support Ukraine, with additional backing from countries like the UK, Canada, and Norway to cover any shortfall. While Russia's claim to the assets would remain intact, they would be inaccessible until the Kremlin ends its ongoing war against Ukraine and compensates for the extensive damages caused. The European Commission has outlined safeguards intended to address Belgium's concerns, but Prime Minister De Wever remains unconvinced, stating, "I have not yet seen a text that could satisfactorily address Belgium's concerns." He reiterated Belgium's commitment to being a loyal ally of Ukraine and its desire to assist in whatever capacity possible. The leaders of the EU have pledged to meet Ukraine's needs through 2026 and 2027, with the International Monetary Fund estimating that this support could total around 137 billion euros, or $160 billion. Ukraine, on the brink of bankruptcy, urgently requires these funds by spring. European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen stressed the need for a solution during a press briefing, while EU Council President Antonio Costa committed to continuing negotiations until an agreement is reached, regardless of the time it takes. Polish Prime Minister Donald Tusk highlighted the urgency of the situation, stating, "Now we have a simple choice. Either money today or blood tomorrow." He called on all European leaders to rise to the occasion and act decisively. EU envoys have been working tirelessly in recent weeks to narrow differences among member states and finalize the loan details. However, if enough countries oppose the plan, it could face significant hurdles. Currently, there is no majority support for an alternative plan that would involve raising funds through international markets. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky expressed his hope for a favorable decision, warning that failure to secure the loan would pose a severe problem for Ukraine. German Chancellor Friedrich Merz expressed optimism that Belgium's concerns could be resolved, acknowledging the necessity of the loan in light of recent developments from Russia. He emphasized the need to choose between utilizing European debt or Russian assets for Ukraine, advocating for the latter. However, not all nations are on board. Hungary and Slovakia have voiced opposition to the reparations loan plan, with Hungarian Prime Minister Viktor Orbán positioning himself as a peacemaker and expressing skepticism about the loan's effectiveness. He characterized the proposal as a dead end and labeled it a stupid idea. The outcome of this summit carries significant implications for Europe's role in negotiations to resolve the ongoing conflict in Ukraine. The United States is keen on ensuring that European nations remain committed to providing financial and military support to Ukraine, especially as diplomatic talks yield limited progress. The loan plan also raises fundamental questions about the EU's decision-making framework. Should a two-thirds majority of EU leaders choose to impose the scheme on Belgium, it could set a precedent that complicates future negotiations and voting processes within the bloc. Prime Minister De Wever now faces a dilemma, whether to maintain his stance against the majority or risk damaging his government's credibility within Europe. Regardless of the outcome, the process will extend beyond this summit. as legal experts will need to translate any political agreement into a functional framework, and some national parliaments may need to approve the measures before funds can be dispersed to Ukraine. That's all for this story. We upload videos every day covering many different subjects, so hit that subscribe button to stay informed. Thanks for watching.